Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Caleb Nation, and I'm back at it again with a new tutorial on how you can use SEM Rush, literally use it to get your site ranking. And I'm going to take you through the processes and the steps that I use personally on the daily to help my clients rank and to help them climb the charts. Stick along if you want to see these tips totally for free. I'm about to give them to you. Yep, let's get it going. And the first thing that we're going to be going over is the audit tool. I'm going to show you how to plug up your website to the audit tool, and that's where we're going to start our processes, improving your website and getting it going in SEMrush. All right, so the first thing we're going to want to do is to come in here and enter in our website. And I hope at this point you've created an SEMrush account. If you haven't, go ahead, start to do that. And then when you get into SEMrush, they might have a little guide through that might do this for you. But if they don't, I'm going to guide you through, show you how to add your first project, and then we're going to jump in that site audit tool. So on the right side here, you want to create a project. For this project, just use the domain name of your website that you're going to tracking. Project name, typically I use the business name. You can check this box, share once created. Doesn't really matter unless you're going to be sharing it with people, then you'll definitely check that box. So as you can see, we're brought to this menu and it has so many different things that we could or might want to set up. But in this tutorial, I'm going to show you what I believe to be the most important things to use inside of the dashboard and that are going to give you the most advantageous advantage in your SEO. Starting with the number one, which is for on-site SEO optimization, and that's the site audit. So how you set this up is you need to click setup and limit of check pages. This really doesn't matter, to be honest. This is essentially, you want it to be large enough to look at every single page on your website. So for me, I'm just going to make it 1,000, and that's going to be able to look at all of the pages on my website. The crawl source, I want it to be the sitemaps on site, because those for me are what I'm telling my robots text to look at. So when Google comes to my site, I have what's called a robots text, and that is telling Google, these are the items that I want you to look at. And contained in there is the sitemaps on my site, and it also has a bunch of exclusions for things I don't want Google to look at. Essentially, I don't want Google looking at everything. And so for that, for these parameters, I want to make sure that I'm not getting things in my reports on SEMrush that Google isn't looking at, because if Google's not seeing it, then I'm essentially just going to be wasting my time. So as soon as we get in here, go down to crawler settings. Now for this, I'm going to suggest that you do Googlebot desktop, respect robots text. For now, we'll leave JS rendering disabled. So in here, if there's any URLs that you don't want SEMrush to look at, you can put them in here, but I've specified all that in my robots text. You can also do that in the remove URL parameters. And so right here, as you can see, you can bypass your robots text, but I would not suggest doing that because Google's not going to look at anything that's outside of your robots text. So then what we want to do finally is just set the day that you want it to look at. So we have all these different timelines. I like to do Monday because that's the first day of the week. And that's when I really jump in and get all my core stuff done for my client. So click start site audit, and then we'll just wait for this to load after a site audit. All right. So how should you interpret the site audit result? When SEMrush finishes auditing your website, you get a site health score representing how healthy your website is. A list of issues will be shown that are broken things on your site, and they're in 3 different levels. So what are the 3 levels? We have errors, the most important problems on the website that need attention first. We have warnings. These are issues that are slightly less important than errors, but still will make an impact when fixed properly. And then finally, we have notices. Notices are just issues that aren't necessarily extremely important, but down the line, they could cause problems. So you really do want to be aware of it. All right. As you can see here, this is the site audit, how you access that. So after it's loaded, you go to the side panel here, click on site audit. It's going to bring up all these different tabs. You have overview, issues, crawl pages, statistics, compared crawls, progress, JS impact. As you can see, which it's kind of good to show you this actually, our website is a company. We have 100% core web vitals, and overall site's just performing amazing. Now, more than likely, your site is not going to look like this. So this might not be the perfect example, but you don't need to see all the errors for me to show you how to go in and navigate and look at and understand the panel. So what we have here is crawlability. Basically, that is how crawlable is your site to Google. Is it liking, what the robot's doing on the site? HTTPS is, does your site fully cover all of the links with an HTTPS or SSL certificate? And then we have Core Web Vitals. Of course, that's just Google Page Speed Score. How well does your site rank for the Google Page Speed Score? And then we have site performance, internal linking, and markup. And those are all pretty self-explanatory. Now, if we go under here to issues, this is where you're going to see the list of issues that you can edit your site. Now, I will give you a suggestion, and here's what I'll actually put a link in here where you can do it. I would say don't do this yourself. Really, your time is irreplaceable. Take all these issues and go to either Upwork or Fiverr. In fact, you can even hire myself and my team to help you and pay somebody to help you with these issues, because some of these can be complex, some can be simple, but going through, for the most part, I can tell you by experience, clients have 5, 10, 15, 20, 30,000 issues at times, depending on how large your website is. And going through and trying to fix all those can take a lot of time. Paying somebody, $50, $100, $200, $300 is going to be more than worth their time trying to go in here and fix that. Next, we have crawled pages. This is going to show, as it says, all the pages that it's crawled. And then we have statistics. This is going to show you, the errors in all of these different places that it's crawling on your site. And then we have compare crawls. So you're probably going to overview these 3 panels the most on here, which is overview, issues, and then compare crawls. So compare crawls is where you're going to see basically from previous scan how much or what have you improved. As you can see in this right-hand column, we have fixed, we have new, and on those panels, you're going to find what have you have fixed and then what is new that's broken on your website. So as you go out and you start to fix those things, you're going to be using this button right here, which is rerun campaign, which will send those bots from SEMrush back to your website so it can scan your website and tell you if you fix those errors that are located under issues menu. So there's a site audit tool. There's how to use it. And next, I'm going to go into how to build a keyword list, how to actually look at your competitors. And then from there, how do we take that keyword list, create a mind map around it, and start to use that mind map to create some content on the website and track that content. So let's jump into the keyword part of it. All right, so next we're going to move on to keyword research. So let's learn how to use the keyword research function available in SEMrush. This is essential to squeeze out the maximum juice from your keyword research. This tool, you can even show the actions, intentions behind each keyword. And that's where we're going to start in the process of deciding what keyword to choose. Why? It's important to understand the category types of keywords you're trying to rank for so you can be assured the type of keyword you're focusing on, the intent it's trying to deliver. In most cases, you don't want to use keywords that aren't transactional or commercial to drive sales. In other words, you want to make sure the keyword represents the correct type of intention you desire to create with your visitor. So what are the 4 main types of keywords that SEMrush has? Informational, navigational, commercial, and transactional. Let me go through these real quick. Informational is the searchers want to find information. Navigational, searchers want to find a specific site or page. Commercial, searchers want to investigate brands, products, or services. Transactional, searchers want to complete an action, make a purchase. All right, so next, we're actually going to jump back into SEMrush, and I'm going to help you build your keyword list. All right, hey, welcome back. So what we're going to do is jump into the SEMrush dashboard. I want you on the left side, when you're logged in, scroll down, go under competitive research and go to keyword gap. This is where we're going to start to build our keyword list, and we're going to need to enter in some information to do that. First of all, I want you to enter in your main domain here. Once you do that, if you know it off the top of your head, enter in some of your competitors, or SEMrush will actually make some suggestions for you. So what I'm going to do is pick some of those and click compare. Now let's give this a second to let the data load. So what we can see here is we have a lot of different items to choose. What I want you to do is I want you to go down, click on untap. What this is keywords for which essentially they're untapped. They have no rankings, but at least one of the competitors have rankings for them. So I want to specify this list down because right now what we're looking at is some really competitive terms. We don't want to be competing in this realm or level. And I'll go through the specifics of how we're going to choose those. So if we come back up here into the filter section, under advanced filters, I want you to click add condition, and I want you to think of a top keyword that you would want to rank for. Not long tail, but very short. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to enter advertising. What this is going to do is it's going to narrow down our list, and you can add a few conditions if you desire. Second thing I want you to do, go under intent, go to commercial, transactional, click apply, go to keyword difficulty, go to the custom range, go to 20 to 50, click apply, and then go under volume, go to 100 to 1,000, 101 to 1,000. And then as you can see here, we've really narrowed down our list, and we have a great list here to work with now. And so what we would do from this point is we would take these keywords, we would select them, and then what we're going to do is we would add these into our keyword list. For this, I'm going to create an example, create a new empty list called media testing, click check. So now we have a list of keywords that we can use in the different tools around SEMrush. Why it's really important that you create this list, because when you create the list within SEMrush, it allows you to plug it into the different tools, use the tracking measures, and create mind maps and do all these other things that we're going to do in the rest of this tutorial. So we're going to jump into this next step, which is creating a mind map. All right, now we've got our site audited and we've got keyword research. So now we're going to be moving into the next step, which is expanding upon our keywords by creating what's called a mind map. A mind map essentially is just a topical map. I actually have another video that I'm going to link right up here where you can go and learn how to create a topical map. But for this use case, we're going to stay in SEMrush and we're going to build a mind map, which essentially is just a topical map. So why is a mind map important? It's going to help us take that original keyword focus that we have and expand it, because towards the end of 2022, Google, in their helpful content update and a few other updates they released, they really started to favor and show, as far as their algorithm goes, people who cover topics and cover them thoroughly and have a lot of great information on their site about these topics. They really favor. They love when you know and you show that you know what you're talking about, which it makes sense. You know, if you met somebody and that person really knew how to answer all your questions and they could thoroughly cover the topic that you were asking questions about, you would trust them. But let's not waste any more time and let's jump back into SEMrush and go over this mind map together. All right, so next we're going to jump into creating your mind map. What I want you to do on the left side, go to keyword research and then go to keyword manager. Once you click on that, you're going to see on the top left side, you have three main areas you can choose from: clusters, mind map, and table. So from here, I want you to select mind map. Yours is going to say create cluster list. Now it might give you some informative information that says your cluster list is too small. That's okay. You can either go back and add more keywords to it, or you can create a cluster list. It will be okay if you're just following the example and you're trying to get this process down. And then once it's done loading, you're going to get a graph that looks like this, that has a big purple circle. And then on the right side, it's going to have the terminologies that you have created clusters for. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on advertising agencies in Michigan. And as you can see here, these are the keywords that are a part of that cluster. Okay. So from the top down, as we think about our topical map, we have advertising agencies in Michigan. And then as a part of that, we have advertising firm near me, advertising agencies in Michigan. So recall back to our search keyword intent. Now, what we want to do from here is we've selected keywords that are transactional and commercial, and we're going to take those keywords that we've built a mind map with and created clusters, and we're going to send them to our writing tool. Okay. So next thing I want you to do from this point is in the right side, click write content. Once you click that, and I've already got it open here because I wanted it to load, is you're going to get this blank slate. And then on the right side, you're going to get this cool looking target that has 4 different sectors on. So we have readability, SEO, originality, and tone of voice. Essentially, as you type your content in here about the keywords you're going to rank for, this side part is going to be grading that content, okay? It's going to be telling you, essentially, is that content readable? Is it optimized for SEO? Is it stolen? Does it have originality? And how does it sound? What is the tone of voice? So what I'm going to do right here is I can actually use a tool that I have called Jasper and just use it to keep writing out this whole thing. And I could keep going down and keep building this out, but I'm not going to do that for time's sake. I'm just showing you that this tool is really useful and it will help you to write content for your website that we've already audited. We've created a mind map, topical map, and we've turned those into clusters so that then we can send that content into our writing tool and start taking and making content for those keywords that we want to rank for. Next thing we're going to move to is tracking our result in our keywords. We want to see how those keywords are moving in their ranking, and as we create and do actions, how we're tracking that. And that's in position tracking. All right, so now we're going to jump into position tracking. What position tracking will help us to do along the way is your keywords change rankings going up and down. You're going to be able to see that at a glance just by clicking on the position tracking tool. Also, and this is throughout all of SEMrush, but there's a note-taking tool. I'm going to show you how to use that because as you're making changes in the SEO process, because it's very logical what you're doing, you want to see when you're making that change, what is the result in the rankings that you're making. That's where the note tool comes in handy, and I'm going to show you how to use it. Let's jump back into it. All right, so we're back in SEMrush. And what we're going to do is go back to the left side, go to keyword research, go to your keyword manager, click on table, select that list. Make sure you select the list that you made the mind map and the clusters from. Go to the top right blue button here, click send keywords, and send them to the position tracking tool. You're going to have to go through here, select project. And then once you've sent them, it's going to say successful at the top, and then click go to position tracking. Once you click on that, you're going to get a list of tons of different things here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you what I think are the most important aspects of this position tracking. Focus on. Outside of this, these aspects I'm going to go through, there's very little other use case for a lot of these, and they're more used in situations outside of data. So the landscape is really important because in the top left, we have visibility, estimated traffic, position. Visibility is basically based upon that keyword list that you're tracking, how visible is that in the search rank. Next, we have estimated traffic. Now, this is, as it says, how much traffic are you getting from those keywords that you're ranking for? And then you have average position. What is your average position? So if you took all of keywords, added them up, and divided them by the divisible of how many keywords there are, what is the average position for all those keywords? And that is important. We're going to get into that in a second. Another important thing is the summary. This is a beta right here. They're working on developing this tool in SEM Rush, but this gives you a bit of information around the clock about what keyword groups are improving in your position tracking, what's going on with your competitors, so on and so forth. Then you have your rankings distribution. This is the number of 1 to 3, 4 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 100. Where are those keywords sitting in the position rankings? And then right here, you have keywords, which is your top 3, top 10, top 20, top 100. So how many keywords are ranked in the top 100? How many are ranked in the top 20? How many are ranked in the top 10? How many are ranked in the top 3? And then we have top keywords, and then we have positive impact, and we have negative impact. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump into the visibility tool, because this is a tool that I use every day. Show you why it's super important. Is when you jump in here, you're going to see all these lines. More than likely, if you've entered in your competitors here, it will show them up here. If you haven't, go ahead and enter your competitors, because what this does is it's going to give you a graph so you can compare your ranking to your competitors' ranking as far as their visibility and how they're changing. And why is that important? So one thing you can do, for instance, if we go right here to Uptick Marketing, we can see that they have had some significant improvements starting August 10th, August 11th, and then they've kind of balanced back out. What we could do, and that's a more minor change, but if it was more drastic, what I could do is I could actually go in and look at what changed in their site within those 3 days. So I could kind of peer into what is going on their website that they got this improved visibility. Also, really cool thing is we scroll down here, we can compare and see all the ranking for these different companies. And we can look at how those rankings are changing. Again, why is this important? Because you want to look at the search landscape holistically, and you want to be looking at what is going on in that landscape. How are things changing? If your competitors are continually ranking better than you, continually doing just better than you in the SEO world, you can use this tool to get visibility on what they're doing so you can make decisions. Now, what I want to show you outside of just that high level look over of this is the second biggest thing here is the note taking. So what I want to show you right here is notes. And what you can do is record notes here. And why is that important? Let me just click this right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to compose a note. So as you're going through and you're making changes to your website. So let's just say you added a new page and then you increased your internal linking. You did a bunch, okay? And then I'm just gonna ask Jasper to do this so I don't have to write it. Give me a description on adding a new page to my website. Okay, so I've entered in this. Why is this important? This is why it's super important, because now if I go in here and I wanna make sure, for me, I really think, let's go through and process how to enter this information. Click on select all. I think it's important to just put it on every tool. Why not? And make sure on the United States database or whatever database you're trying to rank for me, United States, and then click save no. Okay, so why is this important? This is why it's super important, because now I know if I go back in the time space continuum of my position tracking and I can see this note on other tools, let's just say I see a really big increase in my ranking and I go back and I look at my notes tool and I see 2 weeks before I created these 6 subcategory pages. I did this internal linking on my website. I increased my backlink, so on and so forth. Whatever it is, I now have seen that there is a logical action that then relates to the output of what's going on in search rankings. And I can tell you, that's how you do this. That's how you track it. That's how you look back. And this is a very simple way of doing it. And there's a lot of other steps that we take with other tools to do this, but this is a way where you can really look at, as you update content, how your rankings are changing, and as your website is going through an SEO metamorphosis, how it is improving in its rank. So I hope that helps you, and I hope this is a good high-level overview of the position tracking tool and showing you why taking notes is so important. You can track away. All right, thank you so much for watching my SEM Rush tips for rookies and even for advanced. If there's something in here that helped you out, please comment below and smash that like and subscribe button. It helps me so much just to keep producing content for the channel. And what I want to do is really help y'all to improve your business, get your website ranking, and get out there and start doing and fulfilling your dreams and do these things that you think about so much. So I hope that this helps you. Have a great week. Caleb Nation and Nation Media. See ya.